The climate change treaty that Obama is now going to negotiate would make him a virtual dictator, and he would negotiate it and sign it without any approval from the United States Congress. This is just incredible. Originally, when the United States signed the Kyoto Accords to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the name of climate change, Clinton refused to submit it to the Senate for ratification, knowing that it would not then take effect. Because he knew that he couldn't possibly get it to pass. And just to emphasize the point, the Senate passed a resolution by a vote of 99-0, saying that had it been submitted, they would have rejected it from passing. Well, now that's morphing to Obama, who is having Kerry negotiate a climate change treaty, which he not only won't submit to the Senate, he won't even say that it could be submitted to the Senate. It's going to be an executive agreement among the presidents that is not technically enforceable within any country. And if the country violates it or doesn't reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the power of the UN to sanction them would be only the power to name them and shame them. And say, shame on you, United States, for polluting the atmosphere. Shame on you for causing climate change. Naughty, naughty boys. Now, two salient facts. First of all, there is no climate change. For the last 19 years now, there has been no warming of the Earth's surface temperature. And for the last 26 to 16 years, there has been no warming in the troposphere, in the lower atmosphere. This pause could continue for God knows how long. So we're fixing a problem that isn't there. But secondly, once this treaty is signed, even if it's not ratified, even if it's not proposed for ratification, it becomes part of international law. And international law is a funny thing, just like common law is in the United States. You can have a common law situation that exists without any legislative or statutory prerequisite, just by judges continuing to hold in a certain way, and eventually that precedent becomes binding and eventually becomes law. 99.9% of the laws in the United States have never been passed by any legislative body. They're passed by the courts through common law court rulings. Well, international law is made the same way. They amalgamate the treaties, the statements, the UN resolutions, the votes, the previous decisions, and they amass a body of international law. Is it controlling in the United States? Well, there are strong efforts to make it controlling in the U.S. We talk about this in our book, Here Come the Black Helicopters. Just recently, for example, there was a prosecution of a woman in Pennsylvania for attempted murder of her husband. And the way they prosecuted her, not under the murder statute, but under the UN prohibition against chemical warfare, because she used toxic poisons spreading around her friend's house. It was a lover's triangle to murder the other woman. And she was convicted. And the U.S. Supreme Court threw out the conviction unanimously, saying you can't use an international treaty, you have to use local Pennsylvania law. But those decisions could have gone the other way. And there is an increasing feeling that once the United States signs a treaty, that it is essentially binding itself, in effect, to the climate reduction goals, greenhouse gas reduction goals included in the treaty. Part of this process is the Vienna Convention, which the U.S. signed, which provides that when the United States signs a treaty, even if it's not ratified, as long as it's not rejected by the Senate, it remains in force simply on the strength of a presidential signature. That could be applied in this situation. And Congress would affirmatively have to bring up the treaty and reject it. And it might not even have that power because the treaty doesn't provide for its own rejection, because it doesn't provide for its own ratification. One way or another, this is an attempt by Obama to hoodwink the United States into a system of economic controls that would limit what every power plant, every manufacturing facility, every home, every business, every school would emit into the atmosphere, and give him virtually dictatorial power to reduce that and restrain it, and do so without any approval by either House of Congress or even submission of this stuff to Congress. It is just incredible. Thanks for watching.